Okay, so the elections have come and gone. November 2nd is now gone. You know what? And I am so flippin' happy it's finally over with. I don't know about you, but I am so sick and tired of these political commercials. These politicians sitting there telling you all this stuff, everything you want to hear, just so that they can gain a few votes and retain their little seat of power. You know, it's pretty horrible when you have greedy sociopaths that are running our country. Greedy sociopaths that are determined on one thing, and that's retaining their power just so they can maintain that little seat that they have, either in the Senate or in the House. You know, I look at the country in general, and this election, honestly, I never even voted. Why? Because this election had nothing to do about the people. This election had to do about how much money was being spent, which side got the most contributions. You know, something that has always boggled my mind is the fact of political contributions. You have people, well, for one thing, the only way you can run for any kind of political office on the national level is you have to be a multi-millionaire. You'll never see somebody that's low income running for a national level post. Why? Because you don't have the money for the advertising. You don't have the money in order to put your name out there so everyone knows who you are. So instead, we get to choose from the worst from the worst. You know, and everything you heard this political past 3 or 4 months was anti-Obamacare, anti-Obama. You know what? It was pretty pathetic to me. Is even little local district seats in my little town in southeastern Arizona. They were using the same rhetoric. They were going to fight Obamacare. Really? Really? What are they going to fight? You're trying to get elected for a district that serves less than 30,000 people. Okay? And it's just for a Arizona House seat. Come on, please. Really? You know, I have another question. Okay, these people that are running for public office, they run for public office so they can serve the people. Yet, why do they not have to disclose where they get their political contributions from? Political interests are all centered around the interest groups, the lobbyists, and anyone else has got a lot of money that can influence their power on politicians. Votes and legislations get passed not because it's the good of the people, it's because of how much money was put into the bank account of the senator or the congressman that passed the vote. You know, there's several websites out there that do really well as far as following the trail of where the campaign money comes from. But even they don't know for sure where all this money comes from. What about all this big influx of cash that came in from the Chamber of Commerce that was pumped into the Republican National Committee to put in all these political ads? You know, Republicans got the House. Why? Because they have the most money. And it doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican. You know what? They're all bought and paid for. There's no such thing as an honest politician. An honest politician is somebody that accepts money from only the taxpayers, not the companies and the corporations. They're the ones that dictate the laws. We have no say-so. I mean, they say that we live in a democracy. Really? Do we? I mean, I didn't vote for the Wall Street bailout. Did you? Did you vote for the Iraq War? I know I didn't. Have you voted for anything like that? No. We call it a democracy when we elect politicians to go to Washington so they can make their own little rules and laws. That's not a democracy. That's nothing more than a dog and pony show. Yeah, it gives people the thought that we have the power when we don't have the power. We can complain and we can bitch and moan about anything that they do, but you know what? We put them there. We don't have any say-so about what happens. The Federal Reserve has all the say-so for the most part. That's where we get all the damn money from. I mean, exactly, how can an organization that was founded in 1913, that was rushed into legislative law on Christmas Eve, no doubt, a law that was written by bankers and not congressmen or senators, have so much influential power over our country? That's what our founding forefathers fought in order to get rid of when we broke away from England. We broke away from religious persecution, but we also broke away because of the Central Bank of England. Once the King of England found out that the colonies were using their own currency, he immediately banned it and made it mandatory that we borrow money from the Bank of England. You know, money to me makes no sense at all. It never has and it never will. We go to work so we can make money, so we can pay bills, so we can buy things. But what do we go buy? We go buy miscellaneous bullshit. We buy shit we don't need. We buy stuff just because we can have it. Whether it be a new cell phone or the new PSP or the new little gaming system or that new pair of shoes you're going to wear once and then it's just going to be locked in your closet. Or my mom is famous for even buying purse after purse after purse, wearing it once and then stowing it away. We waste so many resources on stuff that we do not need. And why? Because that keeps the commerce going. That keeps people in jobs. But now, even that's in jeopardy. You know, you have companies like Chase and Bank of America that you can now put checks into the ATM and it'll make an automatic deposit. Or you can take a picture off your iPhone with a specific app and deposit a check. You know, you see these commercials and it's great and fine. It makes everybody look, oh wow, look how cool is that? I don't have to go into the bank anymore. Well, that's also another teller that's going to be losing their job. It's called technological unemployment. And it's just going to get worse. Robotics and automated machines are going to continue to dominate the workforce. Why? Because they don't need a time off. They don't need benefits. They don't need a break. They can go 24/7 without having to worry about anything. All you're going to have to do is have some software engineers, some IT specialists, and make sure everything is still running good. You know, the truth is, this entire unemployment thing is just going to get a whole lot worse. It's not going to get any better. There's not going to be an easy answer to anything. Sometimes I wonder if this is exactly how they want it to be. This is how they want. They want the classes to be so completely divided to where nobody is going to be equal anymore. Either you're going to be poor or you're going to be rich. You know, they keep talking about the taxes for the middle class and lower class and lowering the taxes on the rich. Yeah, that's great. You know, let's higher the taxes for the middle class so that they're spending more money out of their pocket for taxes while we lower the taxes on the people that are making over $250,000 a year. Why? So that they can keep their money in their bank accounts and they can continue just growing more interest day after day. The entire system is broken. We need to get away from this system. People need to say enough is enough. And it's time for us to step forward and realize that this world is not ours. This world belongs to to the next generation and the generations after that. This world belongs to the planet. This world belongs to the creatures, to the plants, to the flora, the fauna, everything that calls this planet home. We just use this planet. And it's up to us to make sure that we take care of this planet. The only way to do that is to get rid of money. It's time to start putting our brains together and coming up with a way to keep our society growing without it. Thank you.